The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell. Once upon a time, a famous hunter named Rainsford was sailing through the Caribbean Sea with his friend Whitney. As they sailed into the night, Whitney pointed into the darkness and said, "Off there to the right, somewhere, is a large island. It's rather a mystery." "What island is it?" asked Rainsford. "The old charts call it Ship Trap Island," Whitney replied. "Sailors have a curious dread of the place. I don't know why. Some superstition—" "Can't see it," remarked Rainsford, trying to peer through the thick tropical night. "You've got good eyes," said Whitney with a laugh, "but even you can't see 4 miles or so through a moonless Caribbean night." "Nor 4 yards," admitted Rainsford. "Ugh, it's like moist black velvet." "Well, I think I'll turn in now, Rainsford," Whitney said. "Good night." "I'm not sleepy," said Rainsford. "I'm going to smoke another pipe on the afterdeck." Rainsford sat there in the dark, listening to the engine's muffled throb and the swish of the propeller. Suddenly, he heard 3 gunshots off to the right. Intrigued, he stood up and leaned over the rail to see better, but lost his balance and fell into the sea. He struggled to the surface, tried to cry out, but the yacht sped away, leaving him behind. Remembering the gunshots, he swam towards the sound. After a long swim, he finally reached a rocky shore and dragged himself up. Exhausted, he fell into a deep sleep. When he awoke, he was hungry and thirsty. He followed the shore until he found signs of a struggle and an empty cartridge. "A .22, he remarked. "That's odd." He continued along the trail and came upon a palatial chateau. Surprised, he knocked on the door. A giant man with a long-barreled revolver opened it. "Don't be alarmed," said Rainsford. "I fell off a yacht. I'm Sanger Rainsford of New York City." Another man, elegantly dressed, approached and introduced himself as General Zaroff. "It is a great pleasure to welcome the celebrated hunter, Mr. Rainsford," he said. Rainsford was treated to dinner, where he learned that Zaroff was also a hunter, but of a different kind. "I hunt the most dangerous game," Zaroff revealed. "I hunt humans." Rainsford was horrified. "That's murder," he exclaimed. Zaroff dismissed Rainsford's objections. "Life is for the strong, to be lived by the strong. The weak were put here to give the strong pleasure." Zaroff gave Rainsford a choice: be hunted or face Ivan the giant. Rainsford chose to be hunted. Armed with only a knife and a head start, he plunged into the jungle. He used all his hunting skills to set traps and evade Zaroff. First, Rainsford constructed a Malay man-catcher, a trap he had learned about during his travels. He carefully balanced a dead tree on a smaller living one, setting it up to fall when triggered by a tripwire. When Zaroff approached, the trap was sprung, but Zaroff's keen instincts saved him. He jumped back just in time, though he sustained a minor injury. Next, Rainsford dug a deep pit in the path he anticipated Zaroff would follow. He lined the bottom with sharpened stakes and covered the top with a camouflage of branches and leaves, creating a Burmese tiger pit. As Zaroff's hunting dogs came close, one fell into the pit, but Zaroff himself remained unharmed and continued his relentless pursuit. Desperate, Rainsford devised one last trap. He tied his hunting knife to a sapling, bending it back and securing it with a delicate trigger of vines. When Ivan, Zaroff's formidable assistant, followed Rainsford's trail, he triggered the trap. The sapling sprang forward, driving the knife into Ivan and killing him instantly. Despite these efforts, Zaroff and his remaining hounds continued their chase. Rainsford realized that even his most cunning traps were not enough to stop the determined general. With the hounds drawing nearer, Rainsford knew he had to make a final, desperate move. In a final, desperate move, Rainsford leaped into the sea. Zaroff, thinking Rainsford had perished, returned home satisfied. However, that night, when Zaroff went to his bedroom, he found Rainsford waiting. "Rainsford," exclaimed Zaroff, "how did you get here?" "I swam," Rainsford replied. "I found it quicker than walking through the jungle." Zaroff congratulated him, but Rainsford was not done. "I am still a beast at bay," he said. "Get ready, General Zaroff." The next morning, Rainsford slept peacefully in Zaroff's bed, having finally ended the most dangerous game. The end.